Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Statement Show. If you'd like to support the show, go to audibletrial.com/The Statement. Pick from over 180,000 audiobooks and get a free audiobook today. Cancel anytime and keep the free book. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Statement Show, iTunes, The Statement, and of course you can go to our website at www.thestatementshow.com. Now, on to the show with Lisa Wilcox.
Hi, you are listening to The Statement Show, and this is Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Master, and The Dream Child, Nightmare 4 and 5. Enjoy the show.
From the Night Shift Crew Studios in the DC metro area, this is The Statement Show. The lights are on.
Hey guys, it's Ivana Cadaver.
Hey guys, this is Brie Olson.
You know what your name is, Dan Drops.
I'm Jim Harold from the Paranormal Podcast.
Hi, this is Zach Ward, otherwise known as the legendary Scott Farkas.
This is Jackie Joy, and you are listening to the hottest podcast around, The Statement Show, with Terry James and Zach Jakey.
Welcome back to another edition of The Statement Show. I'm Terry James.
And I'm Zach Chahee, and we're the podcast that fits in no category. Today, we welcome actress Lisa Wilcox to the show. Best known for her roles in the horror films Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Child, and Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Master, as well as her TV and film credits such as General Hospital, Knots Landing, and my personal favorite, Star Trek, The Next Generation. Lisa has proved herself to be a very accomplished actress and entrepreneur, and we welcome Lisa Wilcox to The Statement Show. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
So I got those out of order there. It's the other way around, isn't it?
It is. I did the same thing, though. Well, I said them right. I just did 5 first, then 4. You want to do it again?
No, well, you're good.
You did fine. You did great.
Oh, shoot.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's all good.
You know, we were just talking. I just wanted to say these past 2 weeks of promoting the show, it has shown us exactly how huge your fan base really is. You have some of the most amazing fans.
I have to agree. I am so grateful. It just thrills me all the time how, what an impact, the role of Alice had on people who watch the films. It just tickles me, and it's just, I'm very proud of it. I'm really proud of that.
No, you should be. It was a great body of work, and I know everyone actually wants to hear about Nightmare on Elm Street, but if you don't mind, I would like to rewind things just a touch, and could you just tell us how you got into acting?
Sure. I'm from Missouri, and my first little role in a play at high school was, you've heard of the TV show MASH, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's actually a play, MASH. So, I had a little role in it, Ms. Randazzo, and, that name reflects exactly what my character was like. You know, the big blonde hair and the pencil skirt, and I'm a secretary. I had two little scenes, so, that were done in front of the curtain, on the proscenium. So, it's 400 people in the audience, and I'm going out to do my one of my little scenes, and the other person in the scene is the guy, my boss, and he's sitting at a desk. So I'm strutting across the stage. In the stages, they have footlights, and the footlights were supposed to be all flat and locked. Well, one of them wasn't locked. I walked on it, my foot goes down, and I am totally stuck. I have a strappy sandal. It's completely like, my pencil goes flying, my clipboard. I'm in a pencil skirt, nonetheless, not exactly a very movable piece of clothing. And my foot is dangling. I can't, and there's all these people going, what's going on? Oh my gosh, whatever. Anyway, it's kind of fun. So we started to sort of improv. The boss guy, he goes, I had a little too much to drink there, Ms. Randazzo. And anyway, backstage, they finally figure out what the heck is going on. And of course, I happen to be center stage. And the guy who's playing Hawkeye poked his head out and helped me, who, by the way, happened to be the quarterback at the high school and my boyfriend.
Oh, okay. That's convenient.
And he saves me. Yeah, and he saves me. And he helps me untangle my foot from the from the claws and teeth of the footlight. So anyway, and then proceeded to do my scene. Now, of course, Monday, at school, word spreads fast, and of course half the school was at the play anyway. And no one knew who I was. Well, now they kind of did. They're like, that was wild, and all that. So that was my first sort of little bite of, acting. To continue with a second story, we moved to California. My father was offered a position out here, so we all moved out. And I had no intention of going into acting, even after that Ms. Randazzo experience. I was going to go into the medical field. So anyway, I had a friend who's an actor, and he had an audition at a local playhouse in Newport Beach, the Buddy Epson Playhouse. So he said, hey, Lisa, you want to come with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So I go, and sitting in the state, he's doing, the auditions are going on, and the producer of the play, Jane Nye, she comes up and she's like, you're auditioning for the part of a girl, right? And I, no, we're not, no. She asked me 3 times to audition for the lead in the play. I'm like, okay, so I get up, I audition, and I got the role. So that was it. From then on, and I got Drama Log Awards, things like that for that role, and that was it. I did play after play after play, and then on UCLA as a theater arts major.
So did you end up doing like commercials after that, TV? How did that parlay into the...
Yeah, well, I was doing some print modeling, and doing plays, going to school full time, of course. And then in college, I did get a commercial agent. I did like 6 commercials. I did a couple Wendy's. I was a Wendy's girl, Dial Soap, which back then the commercials, oh my gosh, residuals. I paid for college, paid for 4 years of college and my apartment and everything. Mm-hmm. It was pretty awesome. And I was a theater major. So, and I did one student film, UCLA student film, and the writer of that student film, he brought, I did a play called Last Time at Bluefish Cove. So, he brought his manager to, along to see the play. So that manager, Michael Wallach, talked to me and wanted to represent me, and I said, great. And then he introduced me to an agent, and there you go. And I started auditioning, and I got, I think my first role with them was probably Hardcastle McCormick.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, it was General Hospital.
General Hospital.
Yes, that was the first thing. 6 weeks out of college, the General Hospital.
I mean, that had to be amazing because you figure General Hospital it couldn't get any bigger at that point.
I know, right? I feel very grateful and blessed, but I take acting really seriously. I studied hard. I studied, of course, at UCLA, and even 3 nights a week I studied something called Grotowski, for a couple years as well. So I was very, very dedicated to my craft, and so I feel very fortunate.
I know when I look back at your stuff from IMDb, although my father would probably kill me for thinking anything other than MacGyver that you were in because he loved MacGyver, and I still think he thinks he is MacGyver still to this day.
I never had the MacGyver bug myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked MacGyver, but I could never just take a piece of my hair out and pick a lock with it like MacGyver did. I was never that.
That shows something. I know, really.
And I'm telling you, my dad will fix lawnmowers with gum wrappers, and he's like, come on, Dad, you're not MacGyver. You're not MacGyver.
Oh.
He thinks he is. But me, I'm looking at all your shows, and I love the Mr. Belvedere. I loved Mr. Belvedere. I had no clue you were on there. Yeah, Mr. Belvedere.
Yep. Oh, and I remember that episode like yesterday. So adorable, that little episode. And Christopher Hewitt was just a love of a man. Just a love. And in fact, he gave me, I have a charm bracelet, a silver charm bracelet, and he gave me, it was a little round disc, silver disc, that has a saint on it. And in fact, I need to go look and see what saint it is. But how generous, how sweet to give you this gift, which I treasure forever. So yeah, good show, Mr. Belvedere.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, so you said that you were actually thinking about going into the medical field before you went into acting. I can't really think that you would have rather went into medical, but is there that little bit in your mind that kind of wishes that you did go into the medical aspect, or you just said, no way, I'm glad I'm at where I'm at now,
Well, let's put it this way. If I wasn't a working actress, within a reasonable amount of time after finishing college, yes, I would have reconsidered my options, but I feel that I was fortunate and that I started working and making a living, very quickly. So, and continue to, and I certainly have taken breaks along the way. I got married and had children and then did some other things. But at the moment, I'm right back in it 100% now again.
Yeah, because you actually had a little bit of a hiatus there in between things, correct? Because I think I had listened to an interview where you said that had children, had started your family and everything, and then you got back into things. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was before or after the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff?
It was a couple years after, a few years after, I would say. Interesting enough, when I finally got to audition for Nightmare on Elm Street 4, my callback, I had a callback on a Friday, and I was getting married that Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't an elopement. It was a big planned, 150 people wedding, you know what I mean? And I actually learned on my honeymoon that I had booked the role. So, but I certainly was in the productive side and did, quite a bit of TV in between and stuff. So, but 1991, I did, is when my first son was born, and that's when I did, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And, we lived up in Canada for a couple months. And I still did some more TV. And then when my second son came along, it was kind of like impossible. Once the kids started school, it was like I couldn't just fly off to Canada.
Sure.
When he was little, I could bring him with me. But once he started school, I really needed to be around.
Sure. Now, I don't think that we could actually even talk about anything else in this interview if we did not talk about Star Trek for Zach's purposes, right?
Well, that's the one thing. I think I know you. I know you from the Nightmare on Elm Street 4, but I remember you the most from Star Trek The Next Generation. One episode, and that's the one thing that sticks out in my mind. So how did you get involved with that?
Well, it was the good old audition process. Your picture gets submitted, and then the casting office brings you in, if they, think you're suited for the role. And so just went through that process. And I remember being very specific about what I was going to wear. I wanted something sort of this black jumpsuit with this big round belt. I wanted to look very futuristic. And of course, my character ends up wearing this very beautiful dress and all that kind of thing. But I just remember getting ready for that audition. And I know what happened. I had no hot water. I get up, take a shower, no hot water. I had to use the neighbors. I was on late to my audition. Oh my gosh. Anyway. But yeah, just auditioned the good old fashioned way, and whole hallway of people, whole hallway of actresses. But I got the role. It was so cool. I love that role too, because I actually ended up on the Monopoly board, the Star Trek Next Gen Monopoly board. I'm a property.
Wow.
I know, and they did trading cards and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm a property. I'm the assassin.
Did you? I'm trying to remember the time frame. Did you? Was Gene Roddenberry still there, or was this after?
Yes. No, I think he may have still been there, and in fact, his nephew was in that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't recall what character he played or what his name is, but I know his nephew was in the episode.
Huh. Okay, so I'm looking at it, and you have a Texas Walker Ranger, Chicago Help. I mean, you've been all over the place, and you must get a lot of that. You're walking down the street, and people kind of, oh, you're that. What's her name? Kind of. They don't remember quite what you're in so many lineups of things.
You're right. Yeah.
So.
Or it's like, did I go to high school with you? And I'm like, where'd you go to high school? They're like, oh, so and so. No, you probably know Nightmare on Elm Street or something. And they're like, oh my gosh, So that's usually how it works. Oh God. Because I think too, so many of the roles I look different, in many of them.
Yeah. Because you probably think that a majority of your fans recognize you from the Nightmares, but is it strange when somebody says, "Hey, I remember you in Walker, Texas Ranger," or Mr. Belvedere or something? I mean, that's got to be totally, that's got to be crazy, because I'm sure everywhere you go, it's Nightmare, Nightmare, Nightmare. But when they go. There's
a random, there'll be a random, like Walker, Texas Ranger. Were you the nun in that Walker, Texas Ranger? Or, definitely it can be kind of all over. Even when I was doing General Hospital, of course, with soap opera, and then, then other shows as well.
I guess it's better than being remembered for something you weren't actually in, though.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
How humiliating would that be?
Right. Well, I mean, I could probably keep going and going and going, but I'm going to tell you right now, our listeners have flooded our emails and Twitter regarding mostly, obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street, which I guess is a good and a bad thing for you. I guess in some ways you probably heard every single question in the whole entire world regarding Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm sure you're probably going to answer some of these questions again, but I figured we would at least start with a few of them. This one is from Rodrigo, and he says, "Hello, Lisa. First, I want to say to you, thanks for keeping the Nightmare 4 alive. This movie brings me good memories. I want to know what you think about these remakes. I read that Hollywood planned a new Freddy movie. What do you think of that? Greetings from Brazil."
Wow. Well, they did the remake. They did do a remake about 5 years ago. I want to say about 5. And I thought I was invited to the premiere and whatnot. I think the hardest thing really is to capture the essence of Freddy, and that Robert Englund just has the essence. He has created and branded that character so remarkably. I just don't see how anyone else could come close to it, because it's made such an impact. Now the world, it's part of pop culture. I remember watching the Super Bowl last year, and it was, of course, coming up this weekend, but last year, and there was a commercial that came on, and I think it was McDonald's, and they had like this animation thing going on, and they had Freddy Krueger. I was like, oh my gosh, he's just terminated. And then also just Robert Englund as an actor, he has had it, because Freddy Krueger is actually seductive,
Correct.
and Robert
laugh.
Englund just has it. The laugh, the way he stands, the way he moves, the way he walks, and I just don't know how they would have to do something completely different, and if there were to be a reprisal, I would say hire an actor that is an unknown actor.
And I agree, because that's what made Freddy, because, you had Jason, you had Michael Myers at that time, and those guys really, they threw a mask on and they went around slashing people, but Freddy was a whole personality. It actually, that was the difference between Freddy and a lot of the other guys, as where Freddy, Robert Englund had to sell the part, and he did it in a way that no other of the serial killer, the slasher films could do it.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about it. He had to be an amazing person to work with.
I think it's a time period thing too, because you don't have all this CGI kind of. So many of the movies today are so done with CGI that you can just see, it seems more fake. Like you're not really fooling your mind. So the earlier Nightmare on Elm Street movies don't have all that. It's more of the special effects of that time period. It looks better, in my opinion. Yeah,
because if you remember, back in that whole scene with the pizza, with the pizza with you guys. That was so far ahead of its time. I was blown away at that point. That's what made it so real for me. Like when I was growing up, I don't get me wrong. I loved Friday the 13th movies. I thought they were cool, and I love the Halloween movies. I'm a big, horror fan in general, but the Nightmare series just always seemed, that whole fact of, don't fall asleep. Something was so cool about it that just made it so great.
Well, you had to. How did you feel like when you saw the first one? Of course, to me, the first one will always be the scariest because you don't know anything about the character, and it's all building up. And it was the less you see, the scarier it is. And of course, after that, that's when you see it more. When you first saw the first one, was that something that scared you, or did you actually go to the theater?
Oh yes, I was a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I'd always been a fan of horror in general ever since I was a little kid. Dracula was the first book, full novel I ever read, like in 4th grade. And that was not assigned by school. I loved ghost stories and paranormal, and that's what I would check out of the library. Fortunately, my parents weren't too concerned, so they let me go with it. I was a big fan of Nightmare 1, 2, 3. 3 is probably, 1 and 3 are probably my favorite, of the series. And in 3 I had the biggest crush on Rodney Eastman. You have no idea. Anyway. So I was a fan, I was totally a fan.
Do you get that too, where people come up to you and go, "Oh my God, I had such a crush on you in 4 and 5." Do you get that a lot still?
Yes, I do.
I bet.
Do. It's so sweet. It's so nice, and it's such a compliment, you know. And I didn't even, you know, because I looked at Alice. Well, you know, she's so shy and meek and, you know, living in her dream world, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but I can see as she gets stronger and stronger and stronger, you know, the appeal of how, yes, okay, I see you have a crush on Alice, you know. Yeah, I do, I love that. One of the things I saw on pictures is the line, that I love to put is one major league hunk. I love that scene.
Yes.
When I'm dreaming and looking at Danny, imagining that he's my boyfriend, you know.
All right. So I've actually got one of the listeners send in an MP3 so we could play back a question for you.
Hey, it's Tabitha Holland. I am from Memphis, Tennessee. You also follow me on Twitter. The question is, what was it like playing Alice, and would you ever play Alice again?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Playing Alice was really me it was me growing up, seriously. I read books, I kept to myself, I was very quiet, very shy. Summertime, sure I'd go out and play, but I could go through 2 books in a day. I too, there was this, neighbor next door, this guy, oh my gosh, he was so cute, and he was in my class, but I would look out my window, take a break and look out my window, and he might be playing soccer, you know, basketball in his backyard, and I would just sort of literally look longingly out the window. So there's so much of Alice that is me. And of course over time, an interesting thing happened. So we moved to California, and, my mom and my sister were getting ready to go somewhere. I'm like, oh, where are you going? And they're like going to go to Barbizon modeling school. My sister was tall, blonde. And I'm like, well, I want to go too. Now, mind you, I was more tomboyish and a bookworm and wore no makeup, you know, just not there. So, but I went with them and I did the Barbizon modeling school, and I learned how to walk and I learned how to be feminine, you know? And, so that was like one element for myself that gave me confidence, you know, and, broke out of my shell, and then, you know, having more friends and that kind of thing too. So, and playing the role of Alice is interesting too, because, you know, I take on, as each of my friends dies, I take on some part of their personality or skill, you know. And, so when you film, of course, you film out of order, right? Sure. So in my script, I had to write, went through the whole script and wrote each scene who had died at that point. So I knew as best as I could to implement those personality traits or whatever in the scene, you know, because we weren't in order. So if we were doing scene 57 one day and then scene 2, you know, it'd be a big difference as far as how I needed to relay the character of Alice. You know,
that would have to be hard. Doing everything out of order.
Yeah, it was, and especially too, there's a change in her, you know, my hair, makeup, you know, as we move along. So it was the continuity was very important. So had a wonderful team of makeup artists and hair to keep track of that as well. Yeah, because it was tricky. It's not like just I looked staying through the whole movie. I mean, I go through quite a few developmental stages, you know. And I would absolutely play the role again. No question about it. Yep.
All right. Well, before we get to the next question, I had to change the subject just for a minute here. And you said you read a lot, or you did read a lot?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Do you ever listen to any audiobooks now, or?
Also, still read books and whatnot, not nearly as much as I did as a kid. Because again, I think that was my way to hide from the world. You know, now I'm more in the world, going to art shows and the museums and like being out in the world, you know.
Well, I just wanted to take a second, do one of our little bit of a break here for a second, and let everybody know if they would like audiobooks, then we got a deal for them on audibletrial.com. Yep.
Oh, no way. I'm writing that down.
Yeah. audibletrial.com/The Statement. You can pick from over 180,000 audiobooks, and you get a free audiobook. So if you cancel, you get to keep the book. So
okay.
It's totally free to try. So you get a free audiobook. And like I said, 180,000 titles to pick from. So that's audibletrial.com/the statement. Anyway,
I like those shameless plugs.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you?
Gotta do it.
So,
well, we're speaking with Lisa Wilcox. You can follow her on Twitter at Lisa Wilcox1. We do have a couple more questions for you. We have one from JD, and it kind of goes on what we were just talking about just a second ago. And he says, did you ever think you would wind up inspiring a ton of teenagers, horror fans, men and women, after the Dream Master? People with depression actually liked your character, changed from innocent to badass. Alice had it rough, but faced her fears head on like nobody else did in the series. And that is true. I mean, that's a good point, because there is a lot of people with depression or whatever that kind of looked at your character and said, I can do this too. I can face my fears head on. I get it. I understand what he's saying there.
Yeah. And this is just so touching to me, I didn't realize the impact it would have on people's lives. It's just such a beautiful thing, and that's kind of like the point of being an actor, hopefully, is that you may have some kind of impact. But yeah, I see people when at like the conventions and things and people share their stories with me. I'm just so touched. I'm so touched. The interesting thing is so many of those that watch the movies, they've grown up to become perhaps their own writer, director, producer. And I do a few movies a year just based on that. They've grown up, they contact my agent and have me read their script, and I'm going to be doing a movie, actually a whole bunch of us are going to be doing William Frost, it's called. And it has a green light. We'll start filming next month in March. And Natalie Bible, who is the director, we just had a conference call. They let me know it's going, and Bran Steele is the producer. Anyway, Natalie was so darling, talking about the role and the revision in the script that's going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. And then she says, Lisa, I have to tell you again, the impact you had on my life as a teenager, you just have no idea. So I'm just like, I'm blown away, but I'm so touched and so grateful to have the opportunity to play such an amazing character,
The fact that these movies are from like 88, 89, it's just, you have such a fan following for movies that are so long ago. And I think they would really love to see you in some of these remakes if they could fit you in. Do you think they'll ever ask you to do a cameo or a small part?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hint.
Yeah. I mean, and I would do it. I think I would do it. I would have to read the script. I would really have to think about it,
If you're looking for a sidekick, I can actually do that for you if you want. I mean, you can play the badass, and I can, I can get killed in the first 2 minutes. It doesn't matter to me.
The red shirt.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'll fall asleep. It doesn't make a difference.
Right on. Well, and if Alice ever came back, would she die? Would she get killed? That would be an interesting thing. Sometimes I waffle between, I never got my death scene, and then other times I'm like, it's kind of cool. I never got killed.
I'm glad you didn't. No.
I haven't seen many of them past the ones that you did, to be honest with you, because
you didn't see Freddy versus Jason?
I only seen pieces of it, and to be honest with you, it was a little weird for me. I mean, it's kind of hard. How do you pick a winner in that? I mean, I was
a little annoyed that I feel that, obviously Freddy got beat in that, but I mean, I don't know. I liked it. I didn't mind that Freddy versus Jason, but kind of wish Freddy would have won. I don't know.
Yeah, I do too.
So, what any movies that are out today that you've seen recently that you like? Maybe like the new Star Wars.
Yes, I've been a Star Wars fan. Saw it in the theater. First whenever the 70s when it first came out. 79, I think, did it come out? Oh yeah, and I very much enjoy the Star Wars series completely. I love all the Star Trek series, just love them. I'm a fan too. I saw Insidious. That's very cool.
Oh.
And again, a horror genre, but I'm also completely into. I love San Andreas, the earthquakes, action movies.
The Rock, right.
Yeah, I love those films. I'm just I love all kinds, all genres. There's pretty much nothing that I don't watch.
A lot of people thought that was campy and kind of but I liked it. I went to the movies and actually saw. I thought it was pretty decent. I don't know.
When you see those,
I did too. too.
You know what you're getting into, though. It's not like you're going in for an Academy Award-winning movie.
Right.
Acting.
Right.
That's the kind of movie you're going to, when you go to see a blockbuster,
Right.
you obviously know what you're going for. So I don't like when people start complaining about all that.
Yeah.
It's
Or like when
yeah.
when you're watching like the Fast and Furious movies, you know, you have to suspend belief a little bit. You know, if you sit around going, "Oh, come on, they're jumping from bridge to bridge with that car. That's stupid." Or they're going from this building to that. Come on. It's a Fast and Furious movie, you know.
Just like a guy coming out of your dreams.
It's not based on a true story, you know.
Yeah. No, it's so true. You have to suspend your belief somewhat. And like you said, perfectly said, you know what you're getting into, so don't complain. You know, if you know you don't like that kind of genre, then don't go. You know,
Exactly.
It's like I know I'm getting into. I mean, like San Andreas. Seriously, this flooded San Francisco scene and the water and all that. I thought it was fantastic.
Was amazing.
And I know CGI and stuff, but it was amazing. I was blown away.
I agree.
So I just think, you know, there's a way to appreciate CGI as well, and all the special effects they can do now. It's just amazing. And I'm often like, how do they do that? I can't believe. Oh my gosh, you know. How about Jurassic Park? You know,
right?
Love those movies.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just, you know, I can't. I'm trying to think if I've ever walked out of a movie. I don't think I have. I always will give it a chance. You know,
I'm never going to walk out because I paid. There's no way. So.
I've fallen asleep at movies.
Yeah.
Oh my
there you
goodness.
go. Yeah, you pay for your ticket and the $10 bucket of popcorn. You're not leaving, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I fell asleep, you know, and here's the thing, and maybe because you're in that horror genre, you might be a little pissy with me, but this was one of the cartoonish claymation, what was it? Coraline. Do you remember Coraline?
Yeah.
Oh, my daughter loves that movie.
Yes, I hate that movie. First of all, my son wanted me to take him to it. I like minimal of Tim Burton whatsoever. Maybe I'm just the, you know, the crazy one here, but I just don't do much of his anyway. But my son had no rest in his soul until he was, come on, Dad, I want to go. So we I'm 15 minutes in and I'm already, you know, my head's nodding. About 30 minutes into it, I was out until he's like, you know, tugging on my shirt.
Oh,
Dad, wake up. Like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
This is
well,
awful.
again, you like the Burton style or you don't. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Yeah.
My daughter loves that.
Yeah.
And the
Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah.
So she's all into that. And when I actually sat down, you know, she actually wore out a DVD. I mean, almost. I mean, I sat down one time and actually watched it with her. I'm like, this is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
For little kids.
They are. I know. It's a very definitive style. There's no question about it. I enjoy them. My kids enjoyed them as well. There was actually an exhibit over here in Los Angeles that had drawings and all kinds of stuff, the original like artwork and stuff, like conceptualizing the film. It was actually pretty amazing, and I actually grew to have more respect for the style, you know.
Oh, definitely. I think like actual drawings of what is his name, Jack the Pumpkin King or whatever his name, that is amazing. And then the little dog that they did, I think that those drawings are so cool. But it's just once the movie starts, because I have a real issue. Like, you know how like recently they had the Grease Live thing on TV. I can't do it. I can't do anything that just breaks into music.
Nope, not me either. No musicals for me. If you do another Nightmare on Elm Street and you start singing, I'm out. That'll be the first time I walk out of a theater.
No, do not do Nightmare on Elm Street the musical. You're gonna kill me with it.
Oh my God!
I watch any Nightmare on Elm Street. No musical.
Freddy Krueger.
No musicals. So
I'm fine with Grease until they get to the, you know, I just don't understand how they're talking about a car and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's got a 454. I can't do it. It just destroys me every time.
But you know, now that you mention it though, Lisa Wilcox, you would have been a great, you would have, what was it? Olivia Newton-John's character?
Oh, yeah.
I could see you portraying that character though.
I would definitely be in that casting office. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Do you like that kind of stuff?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I love Grease. I did a couple musicals, in high school, you know, but I do enjoy them. I will go to the theater to see musicals. I will.
Well,
More so than probably films.
Speaking of musicals, did you do a video shoot with the Fat Boys, like a music video?
The Fat Boys?
Yeah.
I think
I thought I saw you listed on there, said you were in a video. And now what did they do? Just take cameo parts out of the movie and throw it in the video, probably?
I think the Fat Boys just did something for the movie. Yeah, I think that's what that was. They did a song.
Obviously, she's never heard of it before.
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't. I'm not in it. Maybe it's another Lisa Wilcox.
Hey, remember when I brought that up about bringing something up that you were never in? Well,
it happens.
Yeah. So
it was on IMDb though.
Yeah, I had looked up some information. So, are you still into the jewelry business?
No, but Tuesday night, and I did that for about 8 years, 9 years, I guess. And we started it from home. And we were known for the illusion band toe rings with Swarovski crystals all over them. And they, like mermaids and palm trees and, they were so pretty. So that's what we started with. And we hired friends and Tuesday taught them how to make them. And then, I created like a SKU system so they would know let's say it's a butterfly with 3 different colors, and I would call it BFG, butterfly gold base, and then numbers for the colors that needed to go where, and, we bought the tools for them to work from home. Okay. And it was really this like grassroots movement from home. But then we were growing and growing and growing our orders. And, then, the drugstore's not really around now, but you probably remember maybe Long's drugstore. It's like a CVS. They wanted to carry them. And we're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to fill this order? Well, lo and behold, a gal who was a huge, collection of costume jewelry, she contacted us and, wanted to become a third partner. And she already had a factory, locally that could produce the jewelry. So, we'll talk about lucky stars, right? So we were able to do Longs, and then eventually we were huge in Japan. I did Shopping Channel in Japan twice. England.
Shopping Channel in Japan?
Yes. Yep. I had an interpreter next to me, and it was live.
I was going to say, I was wondering like if they dubbed your voice or
no, she would speak in
Freddie
my ear,
Krueger
but
voice.
she would talk. I know. And she would, at least that I probably could have heard, but she would talk so softly in my ear, and like the camera's going, I'm like, I can't hear you. I just say I'm trying not to move my mouth. Like, say it again. What is it? Because the host of the show is asking me questions. The interpreter's telling me what the question is. I couldn't hear the interpreter. Anyway, it was funny. But we were, we sold thousands and thousands of toe rings in Japan. It's a huge phenomenon. And then of course the United States, and we were in Nordstrom and, all department stores and whatnot. So we did move on from not just doing the toe rings, but did anklets and necklaces and all kinds of stuff. But eventually the company wound up, the fun part too was the magazines, getting in all the magazines and being, and in style and, that kind of stuff. So that was an awesome ride. So, but no, we didn't do it anymore. We're not doing it anymore.
It sounded like a good ride though. Either way, that sounded like a lot of fun. Yeah, because I'd seen something like,
a lot of work.
Yeah, you had like actual celebrities that were buying it and everything. I saw that whole interview. That's excellent.
Yep.
That's a good
one. Made by an actual celebrity too. So
yeah,
right.
Actual celebrity.
It was quite a phenomenon.
Actual.
It was really fun.
Huge.
There were actresses from Friends that were wearing them, and it was fun because we get invited to certain events and things like that. And oh my gosh, we had so much fun. But it really was a lot of work because I did conventions all over the country. Oh my gosh. So I must have done 60 conventions. And if you ever done a booth at a convention, it's a lot of work. But it definitely paid off,
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of the conventions, I did have another email here. This one's from David. He said, "Hello, Lisa. Thanks again for a great meet and greet at the Terror Expo," which that sounds awesome. He says, "What are some of your favorite horror movies, and do you currently watch any of the many horror TV shows like The Walking Dead, American Horror Story, Bates Motel, Penny Dreadful, etc.?" That's a pretty good question.
Yes,
There's no way you don't
absolutely-
watch The Walking Dead, right? You
I
have
watched
I
that.
love The Walking Dead.
course.
I am obsessed.
Yes.
Totally obsessed. Herschel, there were some Walking Dead people at the Terror Expo actually, and Herschel, I call him Herschel. I think his real name's Craig, but to me he's Herschel.
Exactly.
And I'm always like, I'm in the elevator with Herschel. This is so cool. American Horror Story. Absolutely brilliant.
Right.
Absolutely love her. I just love her acting. I've been a fan of hers forever.
Exactly. Do you watch any of the Bates Motel?
I watched it a couple times. I watched the beginning. I just didn't really get into it, but I'm going to give it a second try.
My thing
I will
was
give it a second try.
I agree with you. At the very beginning, I was a little but I'm going to tell you right now, they wrapped up season 3. They're going to be doing season 4, I think, here within the next month or so. And season 3 was amazing. This is when Norman really starts his, starting to go even more berserk than what he actually was in the first season or two. Season 3, Bates really starts picking up. I would definitely advise you if you want to continue watching it, it definitely gets so much better as it. I mean, every character in that show is absolutely the strangest thing ever. Kind of like American Horror Story, every single character is just out there.
I've never seen one episode. I have not watched more than 20 minutes of the movie. So just does nothing for me. It seemed boring.
Which one?
Any of it. The Bates Motel, the movie.
No, Bates Motel.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
What about Walking Dead? You said you did watch Walking Dead.
Oh, I'm a big zombie movie fan, all the way from the original Night of the Living Dead to the original 70s version of the one where they're in the mall. I think it's Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead. And, I've watched them all pretty much, including all the Netflix crappy ones, kind of the ones that you can tell they just pasted makeup on them and they look like crap. And I'm a big zombie fan. I love the campy movies too. But that's why I love Netflix, because they put so many of those, the older ones on there. But, I was hoping, there was a really large documentary about the Nightmare on Elm Street, films, like chronological order, all the films. And it was a big documentary. They had it on Netflix for a long time. Were you on that? Was
it the Never Sleep Again?
Yeah, Never Sleep Again.
Never Sleep Again?
It might have been.
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
no, I was in it. I'm in it a fair amount because of the 2 of the films,
Sure.
But I'm telling you, when I got my copy from Tommy Hudson, who's one of the producers of it, I'm like, well, I'm going to just pop this in and check it out. 4 hours later, 2 in the morning, I'm like glued to the screen. I was amazed and fascinated by all of the elements from all of the other films and all of the interviews, the people they found. Oh my gosh, it's really, I think, a very well done documentary.
They really did do a great job.
They so thorough and so well produced. Yeah.
I mean, when you go to these, I'm sorry, when you go to these
I was
expos.
going to answer the rest of his question about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
And also, horror films.
Yeah,
too.
Terry.
Yeah, no, I'm still like, The Exorcist and, those films are just classic and I could watch them again and again. I've been a fan of the Saw films, actually. I don't mind some gore. I'm into it.
You don't like that, do you, Zach? You don't like the Saw films, do you?
No, it's too gory for me.
It's too gory,
Well, I like zombie movies, but for me, the Saw movies is just about weird ways of mutilating the people's bodies. Now, it just doesn't do anything for me.
I'm weird. No, I guess a lot of other people are weird too. I like it.
I must be too, Lisa. I know exactly what I love the Saw movies. I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, I think they're very clever. And the first one is my favorite one for sure. But I still really love it. I love that series.
Yeah, they sort of started tailing off at the end. It's like it kind of, I don't know, but yeah, I'm with you. The first couple were amazing. But I'm about that. I like the fact that he was so wrapped up in the fact that people were doing other things to either their own bodies or to someone else, and he wasn't actually part of the killing that they had to get out. I thought the whole concept was just different and unique and amazing how he did that. But, like I said, maybe we're the friends, Lisa. I don't know.
Well, do you feel like they stretched those movies out too much? Do you feel like with all right, be honest with me. The Nightmare on Elm Street movies, do you feel like they made too many? Like they just kind of stretched it out too much?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the Star Trek movies. The reason they started going down is because it's too much all the time. Like every year they were coming out with one. After a while, people just got tired of it, and it seemed like the ideas weren't original anymore. And Freddy Krueger had done the TV show, or Robert Englund did the TV show too for a while there too, and that was really weird.
I think they all had their run on that night, or Friday the 13th did, when they started going to stupid space and Manhattan and all that. I'm like, come on, that's ridiculous. This is stupid now.
It's like the Hellraiser movies and all those too. So.
I don't know.
I think there might be a way to gracefully end a series. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But hey, if the demand is there, then why not?
If it's still making money, they're going to keep bringing it out. There's no doubts about that.
Exactly. That's right. So they'll keep.
So if they do a Nightmare on Elm Street 50 and they want you to be in it, and you're like 90 years old, but they're willing to pay you $1 million, hey. I'm there.
I think the decision would be yes.
I don't
so I
blame
can set
you.
up my kids nicely.
I did have one more question here about Nightmare on Elm Street from a fan. Just one more here. It says her name is Amy Green. She says, such a big fan. Were there any scenes that you filmed for Elm Streets 4 and 5 that you liked but didn't actually make the finished product?
Well, Amy, let's see. There is a scene that was kind of horrifying to do, and it didn't make the movie. It was a scene, and I want to say it's the first Nightmare 4, and it could have been 5. I don't know. But anyway, I'm wearing this white nightgown, and the idea is I open the refrigerator, and all of a sudden blood pours out of the refrigerator. So, squirting me, So they have this big, the way they did this, I'm wearing this white nightgown, and they have this big container with a hose filled with fake blood, right? And then, I'm and they squirting me. Now, to look at myself in a white nightgown covered in blood was really creepy. It was really creepy. It felt very Carrie-esque, but it didn't make the film. So anyway. That's one scene I can remember. Pretty much everything else, no, it stayed in. It stayed in. Everything that we filmed.
That's great. That's it. I mean, you know what though? I mean, I bet when you go to these expos or the conventions and all these swarms of people out there that recognize you, especially given the fact that, the movie's coming up on 30 years old, that has to be surreal. That has to be so crazy. But yet, in its own way, when someone comes at you, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my crazy way of thinking, but when somebody comes to you and says, well, in part 4 where Freddy did it, he really wouldn't do this, or he really wouldn't do that, or that's got to drive you bananas, doesn't it? I mean, or do you just accept the fact that, whatever, and just roll on about? I mean, that would just drive me bananas if people would do that to me. Oh,
that Freddy wouldn't do that. I have to say, I think most folks are like, they're like all for, I can't say I've heard that sort of, it's mostly positive comments, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's more, I can't say I've heard too many. I mean, I've heard some say they definitely didn't like a certain one of the movies, or whatever. They definitely, one is going to be their favorite forever or whatever. But I would say as far as each movie as a total, I can't say I heard too many negative comments. You know what I mean? That, the suspension of disbelief was always there, and people rolled with it,
Well,
so
we've kept you on the line here for a while here, and let's just wrap it up here. And if you've got any upcoming events you want to tell anybody about, or how they can find you.
Yeah, I have an Instagram account now as well, and it's the Lisa Wilcox. It was another name, and the PR company said, Lisa, we have to change it. You can't be Lisa 7932. So they changed. So I'm like, okay. So they changed it to the Lisa Wilcox Instagram, and the Twitter is, of course, at Lisa Wilcox 1. Really excited about April. Have quite a few conventions I'm going to. I have two. Let's see. We have Texas Frightmare, the end of April. Then we also have a show in Denver and also one in Nashville, and it's called Stalker Walker. So please check it out. Stalker Walker is the first weekend of April, and then the Nashville one is the weekend of the 9th. And I'm really excited because I've never been to Nashville, too. So
okay.
I'm going to
Stalker Walker.
Stay a few days.
Okay.
Yeah, Stalker Walker. So 2 Stalker Walkers in April and a Texas Nightmare.
Okay.
In Dallas.
I'm assuming they can
month,
Google that and find that. So,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Get your tickets. They sell out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I have, of course, I had mentioned William Frost, this film, and it has actually about 30 actors from the horror genre that are going to be in this film. So I'm very excited about that. And you can look it up on IMDb as well to see the whole lineup of cast. Again, William Frost. Frost is spelled F-R-O-S-T-E. And then I have another film called Rat Hollow that I'll be doing in Canada in July.
Huh. So the Frost movie, when do you think that'll be out?
Gosh, it's possible this year because I know they're taking it to Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival.
Mm.
So, yeah. So hopefully this year. But again, IMDb is a great resource, and it will definitely be telling you, what's up.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, this has been a great interview. We appreciate the time that you've taken out of your busy schedule and rescheduling for us, of course. And we appreciate all the listeners sending in their emails and Tabitha Holland.
Oh, my gosh, so much. Yes, please. I really thank you. Thank you all. All right.
Well, we hope have success in your future adventures with your movies, and hopefully maybe at some point we'll have you back on again.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
I had a great time.
All right, Lisa, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
That was Lisa Wilcox, gentlemen. So,
and ladies.
What's going on? Oh, well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
She has a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
You got to figure all the years going back with these movies, with the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. She's got quite the following. I mean,
Absolutely.
So Twitter lit up, emails lit up for Lisa. And as you could tell, she's kind of renewed her acting. She's doing more movies now, and the Frost movie she's talking about. It's called William Frost, and I looked at it. It's got a large cast, so you should look up an IBM. Jesus, I can't say IMDb, IMB,
IDBM,
and BBDM,
ABCD.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, but yeah, absolutely. Thank you for everybody. I mean, wow, did we just got crushed with emails and Twitter comments regarding Lisa. And to be honest with you, I could understand how. I mean, anybody that's a fan of her, we had never actually had an opportunity to speak with her. Most of our fans had talked to us about how they met her at this convention or this terror expo or, you know, and we had never had the opportunity to actually ever speak with her or meet her, but I could see how people were just so enamored with her. She is such a great person, took time out of her busy schedule. And like Zach was talking, reschedule for us. Just a great person. And like Zach was saying, wish her nothing but the best.
Sure. And let's hope we can get her back on after she comes out. Maybe we'll talk about the William Frost movie. We can get her back on. So, I want to thank Tabitha Holland for the MP3 question, of course. It's been a great show. Well, thank you for joining us another edition of The Statement Show. If you want to help support the show, go to audibletrial.com/The Statement. You can pick from over 180,000 audiobooks and get a free book to keep. So if you cancel, you get to keep it for free. That's audibletrial.com/The Statement. If you want to listen to past shows, go to our website at www.thestatementshow.com. We have people such as Stan Freeman, Damon Drops, Bree Olson, Jackie Joy, Zach Ward, and of course, Lisa Wilcox. Follow us on Twitter at Statement Show. iTunes is The Statement. We're on the YouTube, if Terry ever gets it updated.
Let it go, Zach. Let it go.
You can also get us on Stitcher Radio as well. Podbean, and we're on Facebook. That's right. So go ahead and tell your friends about us. Subscribe to the show, and let us know if you have anybody you want to listen to, and maybe we'll try to get them on the show. You can go to thestatementshow.com, go to the contact page, and send us an email, and Terry will either get back to you or ignore you like he does most of the people. So
I absolutely do not ignore anyone. Anyone knows that if you talk to me on Twitter, I'll talk to you back.
Sure.
Except for you, Zach.
Of course. Why not? Anyway, thanks for joining us, Lisa Wilcox, and that's the end of another episode of The Statement Show. Terry?
See ya!
The lights are out.
Hey, this is Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare on Elm Street, the Dream Child, and the Dream Master. Let me do it in the right order.
Do not do Nightmare on Elm Street the musical. You're going to kill me with it. Watch any Nightmare on Elm Street. No musical.
With Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, no musicals.
They don't need to know we're complete fucking losers, and this is like our 17th take. This is why we don't go live.